Sidwell Friends is a place where ideas live and lives speak. Students are expected to master the academic skills that enable them to thrive in a discipline. But on the other hand, it's about bringing the head and the heart into alignment. And so we teach students to be kind. We teach students to be compassionate. And we teach students to take what they've learned in the classroom to the world outside so that they can have an impact on that world.
It's interesting that silence is tied to letting our lives speak. Why do you think we need silence to let our lives speak?
Well, it helps me think, and you can hear the small voice inside of you.
And then you let your life speak. Interesting. Thank you for that.
Well, I like sitting in silence because it gives me a chance to calm down my body.
Meeting for worship is one of the most important things we do at Sidwell Friends School. In a world that's very noisy, we teach our students to value silent reflection. Whether you're sitting with 5-year-olds for 15 minutes and watching them fidget and maybe delivering a message about the death of a goldfish, or upper schoolers who are grappling with adult issues.
In kindergarten, when I first came to Sidwell, meeting for worship was always a kind of a hard time for me to sit still and to not look around at my friends and, like laugh or make a joke. And I think as you grow up, you learn to appreciate it more and more. Just to have that skill, just to like center yourself, will just come in handy a lot when I grow up.
Even though it's 45 minutes and you might not understand that, like, I don't want to sit in silence for 45 minutes. If you just take the time, it's really inspiring.
And I didn't realize until high school how grateful I am that it's a part of my week.
Service is found throughout all 3 divisions. We teach our students the responsibility they have to give back to the world. They're learning about a social issue. They're learning about the people they're working with, and they are also reflecting constantly on the relationship between the service and the social problems that the service is aimed to address.
Every Wednesday, the kids chop vegetables for the soup down in Martha's table.
Since we're a Quaker school, we want to help a lot of people. We want everybody to have equality, so we cut vegetables and give them to Martha's table.
And it's really fun to veggie cut, but we're doing it for a reason.
Last year I worked on a project, and one of the ideas we came up with was we raised money to buy towels for people who come to a wider circle. So we help people with their dignity and getting themselves back on their feet.
In the upper school, our students do individual service projects. They are required to complete 60 hours of service, and the design of that program is that they are able to pursue their own interest as they become older.
My decision was to help tutor homeless children in a shelter in Montgomery County, and passing along the education that Sidwell has given me to them is what was really important to me.
Sidwell really has taught me that service is not about helping others, it's you're working together to make your community better and stronger.
All right, so after the wetland system, the liquids go into this really fine piece of sand and gravel right here. If you guys can see through the cracks.
The idea of environmental stewardship is woven into everything we do, from the architecture of the school to the programs where our students are learning to recycle and compost. This is a generation that has an acute environmental awareness and that understands that we have to maintain the health of the environment so that we can pass it on to future generations.
In science for 6th and 7th grade, we're doing how this is a green building, and we're doing deforestation and the 6th extinction, and it all relates back to the environment.
Currently in my class, we've been learning about the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, and the goal that I'm focusing on is Goal 13, which is climate action. So I think it's really important that we focus on these things and not pollute our air, and ride a bike and walk if we can.
It's a really good environment to learn about the environment.
Global citizenship is a key element of our program because Quakers believe that we have a responsibility to make the world a more peaceful place. And we also want students to develop cross-cultural skills.
China Fieldwork is a trip to Yunnan, China. We'll do this thing called apprenticeships where we'll go to a local craftsman and we'll learn the trade from them. And then we'll also get to learn about Chinese history and Chinese culture in the context of that trade. So I did tie-dye. And it was amazing learning about the Cultural Revolution in relation to the art of tie-dye. It was very cool.
Our students come from a variety of religious backgrounds, international backgrounds, and they are taught from the minute they walk into the school that diversity is a strength. And so we want to understand each other's perspectives, to understand different cultures and traditions, to make our students more agile in the world, but also to make them more empathetic to the people that they encounter on a day-to-day basis.
Everyone isn't going to be the same as me, and so to learn how to accept other ideas and have them teach me as well as I teach them is just really cool.
I love my advanced Spanish seminars because we definitely talk about the world, we talk about our community in relation to the world. I think that's a very powerful tool, and I think the ability to talk freely and openly and candidly with other people who have differing opinions is something that I truly value.
Think about that. Other hands that wanted to share that didn't get to share.
It just made me think of when the world was separated from Caucasians and African American children. Like, we couldn't go to the same restaurants or movie theaters.
Our students learn how to care deeply about matters of equity and justice, not just in terms of what happens inside the school, but also what happens outside of the school walls.
I'm in the Black Student Union, and they do this show every year called the BSU Show. It's a display of everything that's happened relating to race, culture, religion, and I just think it's an important thing that school does.
We want students to recognize that we have an opportunity every day to make the world a more fair and just and joyful place.
In my freshman year, I joined Sidwell's GLSBT group, and we focus on making the community more inclusive for all genders and all sexualities. We focus a lot on the intersectionalities between sexuality and race.
Being in such a thoughtful and diverse community, we often engage in conversations about social issues, political issues, cultural issues, and you aren't afraid to speak your mind because you know, even though someone may not agree on it, they will still respect you.
One of my favorite George Fox quotes is, "Let your life speak." And when I explain Quakerism to people who are first coming in contact with it, I try to use that quote to explain that it's not what we say that matters. It's about how you let your actions speak to what you value most. Our students do amazing things when they graduate, and regardless of the profession they choose, they always carry with them this obligation to let their lives speak. And they are committed to making the world a better place. And that, fundamentally, is what we seek to do.